David Catan with us here. And David, congratulations on a fantastic month and, really a fantastic year. You've got your team really on the move. And so we're going to go through some of the basics right now, questions that you deal with all the time, and maybe shed some light on subjects that people that are coming up the ladder wonder about, and we want to save them from wasting time. So welcome, Dave.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What should we kick it off with, Dave? What do you think?
Well, I know a lot of people on our team are stuck right there in the personal production level, and now they want to become regional vice presidents. How did you make that transition from personal production to team-type production?
So we're talking about how to transition, right?
Yes.
And you're into sales all by yourself, and you want to get over here to where you have basically duplicated yourself and more and more and more. So it's not that you just recruited someone, that you have replaced yourself, right?
That's correct.
So Dave, feel free to interrupt me, but what I would say is, in one sense, my first thought, it would be same thing as recruiting, Because when you come in the business and you start to duplicate yourself, you could draw it out this way. I get one. We challenge people to go and get 3 people. You can draw the up, down, sideways, organizational chart, but 3 people, The whole idea is that 1 now turns into actually 4 because you've got 3 more like yourself. So now how do you do that? So how do you recruit? Most of these things follow a similar pattern, and we wind up wondering about stuff. We make it more complicated than we need to. So what I would say is, without muttering on too long, because we've got to get it done, but I would say most people, when they go out to recruit, and this is, I'm talking about rather than bring them to meetings and things. Well, first of all, they do is they tell them, first of all, there is an opportunity. It exists. Opportunity exists. Then they tell them what they like about it. It does no good to do a great presentation that the company gives you, somebody else gives you, even that people use in the office, if it's not the things that you really get fired up about, what you like. So it's like, what you like about it. Because you're going to be what winds up recruiting is when you're the most animated and turned on. So you tell them, what do you like about it the most? Because you're going to be more excited about that, naturally excited, because that's when you were excited enough to get started join the business over that. So then you come down, and what else do you do when you recruit people? Well, you tell them, you enlist upline to help you. You get them to the office. You bring them to the office, and meetings there, and use them to help fill in the gaps. You try and get them excited, but then you try and get them to the office where you can get help. So those are basically the kind of things you recruit. Now, when you go into management, it's a similar type thing, and one side of it is similar in how to field train. Actually, how to produce field trainers. So it's like, that's that one, and now this here, it's the outgrowth of that. So what you're going to do is, you're going to be telling, first of all, again, opportunity exists. In fact, it's the same thing as that. Then, in other words, you got to get them excited about it if you want them to do it. So you got to be explaining, you got to make sure they understand it's better to be you than them. They're getting started, they're training, they might be able to get trained, they're going to get a license, they can go out and sell, but it's much better to be you because you can make money more ways and all. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, so you tell them that this opportunity exists. Hey, and if you're smart, you're going to do that in the opportunity meeting, right? right up here, as soon as they come in, they're going to be finding this, and they're going to be like excited about this. And if they're not excited about this, you need to change your operating, because what you've done is you planted a seed. You know, this is where you plant the seed. What you really want to do is not just join this thing and be a salesperson. You want to move up and build a team. And you tell them why you like that. You know, the reason you like that is you're going to tell them, again, what you like most. Now, what you like, what we all like about management is you can make money three ways. You know, we came at this thing to make money. And so you can make money three ways. You have a higher income potential. You can sell. Of course, they can sell now, which is one way. Two ways is you can field train. You've got someone who's making appointments for you. Now you don't have to spend all your time doing that. And I've got a video on that. If you're wondering about that, you can go check my White Owl Academy and see that. And then the third thing is you are override. You get a chance to override. So once they are trained, they go out there. You might be sick at home one night. You might be on vacation. And, you know, you still may be part-time. And then your family, your wife's saying, or your husband's saying, you know, you got to get back out this week, make money. And then bang, zoom, you get a phone call and find out, hey, we made 300, we made 400, we made, you know, whatever, last night because one of the people we had trained was out either training somebody else or they made a sale themselves and we made an override. So that's one of the, you know, it's hard not to like that, you know, making the money part of it. Now, the other thing you do to train them is you enlist the help of your upline, which means you take advantage of all meetings. You know, just like, you know, you're bringing them to the office, make sure they're plugged in to everything. You're never going to build any kind of management if they're not coming to all the weekly meetings, if they're not taking advantage of everything the company has to train, all the weekly stuff, and then, you know, your weekend schools, and any other kind of special event. You know, if they're not taking advantage of all of the training that's being done for managers, how are they ever going to be able to become a manager? Because a lot of that's designed to give them a head start. So those are some of the first things that I would look at. Now, I'll throw another couple of things at you. All right, okay, the last thing to think about here is master copy. This is a copying process. You've got to be good. Because what you're going to do is take you and make another you. Now, if you are not that trained, all we're going to do is have another dud over here. If you don't work, you know, first of all, you're not trained. Well, all you can do is have somebody else over there who's not trained. If you go over here, you don't work. You know, you stumble and fumble and, you know, you're not consistent. Well, you're going to have somebody else who's over. So you could say, well, we promoted them and they got a title, but they've seen a pattern in you, somebody who's lazy, who doesn't get after it. So it doesn't matter what title or what skill you taught them, they're not going to do anything with it anyway. And then you go all the way down through the list. You know, do they know how to, you know, all the things in terms of training? Do they know the presentation? Do you know the presentation? Do you know how to overcome objections? Do you know how to set appointments? You can move that one up here. Set appointments quickly and efficiently where, you know, people can learn from you. See, all of these things you have to not only know how to do, you've got to do them good enough. You've got to be able to do these things simple so you can duplicate yourself. Okay? If you do it, if you make it complicated, they're going to look at you and say, you know, you're the biggest genius I've ever met in my life. Love how you did it. I'll never be able to do it. the goal that you have, say, overcome objections. You want to be able to fill out all the forms. You want to answer all their questions, make them feel good about all that stuff, all the procedures. Just so something that's all right. Then you want to go in here, and you want to be able to do it, this kind of thing was simple. You want to be able to do it fast, quickly. You want to be able to get to the point and then get out. You want to show them how to be brief. And, these are all things that the more you do, you don't learn a lot of this stuff in the office. You just, you don't do that by just listening in an office. You got to get out and do this stuff. You got to develop skill to the point where you don't stumble and fumble and do the thing. Like right now, you and I are just talking. But I promise you, like this first time I've done this presentation, if I made this my standard presentation, David, and we went it over and over and over and over and over 1,000 times, you know what? I'd get it down to a science. I'd get it done. And it would be, the first time I'd do it, I might take 20, 30 minutes. Next, the more times I did it, I'd be knocking seconds off of it. I'd probably be able to get it done in, maybe 6 minutes. I'd probably do a better job. So these are the kind of things. You are the master copy. You want to get all of these things. You want to add all these things into you so you become somebody who is really competent. You know how to do all of these little pieces of the puzzle. So when you duplicate yourself, you can put a powerhouse person out there. Those are the kind of things the first kind of things I would say that a person needs to start thinking. It's not complicated. You got to be a master cop. You got to tell people what you were excited about, what you were turned on. You got to do the same things you did when you recruit. And you get going in that direction, you're going to find that these things start to work out for you. And so that's a good first stab at answering that question, David. Thanks a lot. Did that come across?
That's perfect. Excellent.
And what stood out for you real quick as we're wrapping this up?
Doing it simple and doing it fast.
And, this is the first time we kind of got this example. You like going through it like this, just taking a simple little question and breaking it down like this?
Yes, the interactions makes it just like I was there and we're in a class or in an office and we're having a conversation and you're at the board and I can see I got that visual effect now. It adds the visual effect to the radio. Now we're on TV.
I'll be looking forward to the feedback we get. Okay, everybody, we're going to probably follow up on this one or another question here on our next segment, but that's enough for this one. Hope it helps.